If the Ryzen 7 5800X were cheaper, I would be. If the Ryzen 7 5800X were $349 instead of $449, I would be hooping and hollering about it all day long. 8 cores on a single CCX complex with unified 32 megabyte L3 cache at 4.8 gigahertz. I would be hooping and because I've seen a bunch of people say to me, "Why are you sit down in the 5800X? Man, it's gonna be fast. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be great." Yeah, it will be. Do you know what's really wrong with it?
It's price.
If you wanted 8 cores and 16 threads at 5 gigahertz or close to it, with a unified core structure, meaning no Infinity Fabric, a single chip, a monolithic chip with all the cores next to each other, the i9 9900K existed more than 2 years ago. And is that? It's the same problem I have with the Ryzen 5 5600X. God, these 5 numbers are going to drive me nuts. The Ryzen 5 5600X. 6 cores, 12 threads, unified chip, meaning they're all in the same CCX complex. There's no Infinity Fabric. There's no glue. That's great. Good clock speeds, good IPC, good performance. That's great. $300.
It's really a Ryzen 3.
What?
It's really a Ryzen 3.
No, that's not, yes, but that's not where I was going with this.
Okay.
3.5 years ago, i7 8700K came out. You could have had that for $350 3.5 years ago. If you didn't buy it then, why would you buy it now? Now, in fairness, a Ryzen 5 5600X is probably going to be a little bit faster than an 8700K.
True.
So you're saving 10% and getting maybe 10% more performance for 3.5 years, a third of a decade.
Yeah.
Why would you not all buy it back then? Now, I know, before you all yelling at me, I know. You weren't in the market back then. You didn't have the money back then. You weren't a PC gamer back then. That's fine. I get it. I understand. That's okay. Those are all legitimate reasons why you didn't buy an 8700K back then. That's wonderful. I'm not bringing it up to admonish you for not doing something you weren't in the market for. I'm bringing it up to point out the fact that AMD is selling a 10% better product for a 10% discount a third of a decade later. It's cool, but it's not skirt blowing up. It's not as impressive as it sounds because of the price. If it had been $249, I'd like it more.
Mm-hmm.
If the 5600X had been $249 and the 8700X
5800X.
Oh God, I hate the skip numbers.
5800X was $349.
Was $349.
What would the 59?
All of my What?
What would the 5900X?
Put that aside.
Oh, we're putting that aside.
All of my Zen 3 complaints would go away.
Mm-hmm.
All of my Zen 3 complaints would go away if the price were adjusted. And after launch, if the price comes down, now depending on how long it takes, if it takes 1.5 years to drop, then that doesn't mean anything.
No.
But if it drops within 3 months or when Rocket Lake comes out in the spring, if it drops a bit, okay, great, sure. I think that the 5600X is a buy at $250 at most. And the 5800X is a buy at $350. That doesn't mean that $399 is a terrible price. I mean, there comes a point where it's close enough you don't care. But $450? $450? Ugh. AMD. See, this is why AMD doesn't send me samples. I speak truth to power.